Hey everybody, it's GW Xavier Mohr with More Memories. Welcome back to another video. And I'm starting to get a little bit into the festive season of Christmas here. And what I thought I would do is make a Oh Holy Night layout. I'm going to call it that. And what we're going to do is use one of the newer Black Friday exclusive bundles, Star of Wonder, and create a little manger scene on one page, and then in the next video I'll make a companion page for that, or what I would consider a companion page. So what you see is in general what we're going to be using. So you can see I've got my Border Maker cartridges and my BMS. I'm going to actually start making some room while I list these off for us here. And what I've got for the BMS is the new, I believe this is called Scallop Wave. It's in the secret box number 4 for this year, 2025. So if you haven't picked one up, it's still available right now. So go ahead and snag one. This is exclusive only to that box and that bundle. So go, by all means, snag one. And I apologize for any background noise. We're dog sitting for someone, and right now when we have cats, and so they're getting accustomed to each other. So if you hear some weird noises, that might just be them figuring it out. I also pulled the Angel BMC, which came out with the Magic of Christmas collection for this year. And I'll talk about that a little bit later in the video. I've got the Caroling Border Punch, which was another part of another Black Friday exclusive bundle, Sounds of Christmas. I've got the Star of Wonder Punch, which was part of the Star of Wonder exclusive Black Friday Christmas bundle. And I've got Wheatfield, which was a bring back. It did sell out, but your advisors might have some. And I'm going to play with this a little bit. It was an afterthought after figuring all this out yesterday. I've got my Rich Cocoa ink and brush. Put that to the side. I've got my adhesives, trimmer. I'm going to model this after the November 2025 virtual crop sketch number 1. And in the next video, I will make a companion page with sketch 2. So check that out. But we're going to focus on sketch 1 here. For this particular layout. So I'm just going to put this to the side. I got my Star of Wonder paper pack, and from that pack I pulled, I should have had this in order, right? Oh, no matter how many times I prepare, never in order. I pulled the gold star print and the kind of dark sea green teal Hallelujah print. I'm going to use these two. And from that secret box number 4, that has the punch, the BMC that we're going to use, I also pulled one print that I needed, a more tonal print, so I picked this linen print to go with it. So that is from the secret box 4, Timeless Textures. Has 2 paper packs, a soft and a textured one. And both are really, really nice tonals, giving a lot of different options for things. So again, if you haven't snagged one, snag it now before it's gone. I got our Star of Wonder paper pack, or sticker pack as well, that I'm going to keep handy, figure out what we're going to use. I've got some gold shimmer. I've also got bronze, because I have not yet decided on my star if I want to go with gold or bronze. I think I'm going to figure that out while we put it all together and see how everything goes. I've got some black cardstock for my caroling punch. And I've got medium craft for the manger that we're going to construct, which I'm also going to edge with the inks. So I had to debate which color I was going to use. So brown. And I landed on medium craft with inking the sides. I like the medium craft because it does have a kind of texture to it already. You might be able to see it here at the light. It's already got a little bit of a texture, and then you know, edging the sides with the ink will help pull it out from the linen print there. So get all this together. So let's actually think through this a little bit. So on our sketch 1, I'm gonna have a base paper, which I'm going to use the Hallelujah as my base. This linen I'm going to use for this white insert. So this is going to be my 9 by 11 inch cut. And the gold is going to be this 1.5 by 4 inch, these two pieces on the side here. And like I had mentioned, I'm going to use sketch 2 as a companion page. So I just have to think when I'm placing these gold pieces, I want this to align because I'm actually going to rotate sketch 2 a bit. So a little sneak peek there on that part. So what I want to do maybe is, let's do our gold first, then our linen, and then we'll figure out our base, because I'm actually going to cut our base. I'm not going to use the whole sheet. I'm going to save this 4-inch strip, if you will, because it is an exclusive paper pack. And so there's one of two ways that you can do this. You can paper weld with other strips of paper on the back side and adhering all the pieces together. You can also use a scrap piece of paper. I like to use, and I know it's ironic, I picked seasonal sightings randomly out of my pack. You can use these cover sheets of paper packs as well. They work really great for that also, to adhere everything to, and it's a base page that you can slide into your top loading pocket pages if that's what you use. Or you could design it right on top of, right on a regular page, white, black, natural, or Spargo pages. But since I don't know which way I'll go with that, I'm going to put it on one of these scrap papers so that I have it kind of depending on what type of page I'm going to use, because sometimes I mix them around in my albums. So let's jump in, folks. All right. So first off, for these gold pieces, I'm making these the banners on the side here. So I need a 1.5 by 4 inch cut. And so I want to be intentional about that with directional prints, especially on the back side as well. What do I have there? So I'm thinking I want it to look just like this. So I'm gonna go with my 1.5 right here. Yes. That should be all I need for that, because I can definitely get 2 4-inch pieces of this. So here's 4. 4. I have a little scrap left over. Okay. So now my linen paper needs to be a 9 by 11. Pop out my little clip here. Okay. So 9 by 11. All right. That. I've got my Hallelujah paper. So I have a 4-inch piece that I can cut. So I can cut this in 2 pieces, which is what I would need to do, just removing 4 inches. So what I can do, or I can use it the whole paper, but since it's a little exclusive, I kind of want to keep as much of it as I can. So what's on the back? All right. So I'm going to take that 4 inches off. So I'm not going to need it. I'm double checking myself here. I think this will work. Yes. Just gonna have to space this then a bit and figure out real quick. I'm gonna need got my mat here. Get my, sometimes I do it this way just because I need to. And I'm taking into account the other layout as well. I'm going to need to have it come in 4 inches up. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm probably going to just be altering this a little bit, because you can see there's a little bit more room here than down here. But since I want this whole strip here to come into the next layout, when I rotate that, I'm going to need that banner to come in at that middle point there. So I'm actually going to be moving this more into the middle. So I'm going to make just another 4-inch cut. Now we're just going to piece this all together so that we have it ready to go. So I'm going to get my scrap base paper here, and I'm just going to start adhering these all together. So here's my top. I'm going to have my sides. These are going to come, well, hang on. Yeah. Then the bottom piece. And then the middle piece. There we go. Now we got our base all set here. And that's looking really good. So I'm going to put this aside. I need to do some punches now. And I pulled some scrap because I don't need to punch a full row of these. So for the black, because we can see here in our sketch, it's telling us our border really just goes that 9 inches across on the top and the bottom. So I'm going to follow that a bit because I want that extra space in the rest of the papers to really kind of have its time speaking. So I'm going to use my caroling, and I'm going to punch. And this is about that size that we need. This is just a scrap I happen to have that I pulled. And if we measure it, it's at 9.5, so it's giving us this pretty much the size we need. So 9 to 9.5, and we can make this work. If we have to trim it a little, that'll be fine. The Star of Wonder punch, I'm going to, I know I wasn't sure, so maybe I'll hold off on doing that. But if you know which one you want to use, which color you're going to use, go ahead and punch that once, but we'll come back to that. Anyway, the carolers, I'm going to trim them at 1/4 inch. So where they end here as a border or an edge, I'm just going to bring that to the 1/4 inch mark, which is where the mat on the trimmer meets the trimmer itself. Because I don't want it thick there. So that aside. And we'll come back to that in a bit. Let's do some strip of wheat field, and for this, you could punch the whole way through or not. This is going to be, I'm hoping it turns into some straw to put around the manger scene that we'll have. So I'm just using a scrap because I'm not going to need a very long piece anyway. And this piece itself is about, it's about 6 3/4 or so. So, and this is in Canary. And we're gonna actually do a little inking with that, which we can do that right now, real quick, while we're waiting, or not while we're waiting. To do what, Jeff? To do what? I don't know. All right, let's get our inks. And if you have a craft mat, you can certainly use it. For this, since I'm doing something very quick, I didn't pull out my craft mat to use. I'm just going to rub the ink pad right onto my brush very lightly, and then I'm just going to lightly come in onto the wheat field punch out. And I'm just going to keep blending that in and reapplying as I need to. And I'm just going to use a scrap piece of paper to catch the ink that's not going onto the punch out. And this is really just to give a little extra color dimension to help, make it look a bit like straw, at least in my mind. If you don't have wheat field, you might, and you have something else that might work, by all means, why not? Or if you have stickers that are straw or hay or from a different collection, you could probably use some of those. Perhaps the BMC grass, which is an older one. If you have that in your stash, that might be a good one to try. Grassland was another border maker that came back, which has sold out, but might be another one to, if you have that one, might be another one to try here. And I'm just going to get a little bit of shading under that edge line there. And again, go as dark or as light as you would like. I'm kind of in between what I'm doing here. I'm not sure where I'm going to go with it all yet, but it's kind of the fun of this video today. So I'm going to call it quits on that, but keep that ink handy because we're going to need it to edge for our manger. I'm going to put that with my carolers over there. All right, so now I'm going to get my medium craft and my trimmer back, and we're going to do some cuts for the manger. All right, so I'm going to need one piece that is actually, sorry folks, strike that, reverse it. Get your BMS. We're going to do the edge of with the wave, scallop wave first, because that was the first piece I was going to cut, and then I realized it needs to be punched. So get that scallop, or that scallop wave, I think that's what it's called. And we're just going to go along the edge here. Get these pieces out of the way. Okay. Now I'm going to cut this at 1 inch. Oops. So I'm going to bring the edge of those scallop peaks just a little under that 1 inch, because I really don't want thick beams here. This is going to be our roof piece. And then I'm going to cut 2 3-inch pieces. I'm pretty sure that's what these are, right? Nope. Sorry, folks. These are 4. Hang on. 1 2 3 4. Probably 4, really. Okay. Quick remeasure is always helpful. 4, and I think that's 7/8. So 4 7/8. Cut. Yeah, okay. So those are pretty much good. I'm gonna put those here to the side. Okay. Now I need a 1/2 inch strip. And this will be cut again at 4 inches. I need 2 of these. Okay. Grab our ink and just edge those sides. Take our roof pieces, and again we can edge those as best as we can with that ruffle. Okay. Keep it because we have some background slats to make. But let's kind of get this up on its feet a little bit. So get my mat again. Grab my layout, or grab my base paper here. Let's double check our sketch. We're on point. We're gonna look at getting this first strip down, which is the carolers. So we're gonna start dry fitting a little bit here. And then in this middle part is where we're going to start building that little manger. Because we've got our posts here. And we've got our roof here. Because I'm doing an open back one where I'm going to put, some slats of more craft in the back. Kind of one of that open back manger scene. And then that's where a main photo will go inside of that. If that's what you want. That's how I'm designing this one. Or you might want to put, some type of image of the nativity in there, and you could put another, photo and title at the top or so. I designed this in mind of a lot of, schools and churches do, Christmas concerts of some kind, depicting the nativity. So that's kind of where this inspiration came from here. And so I'm literally just gonna put my pieces here, dry fitting a little bit, because what I'm aiming to do is have at least a 5.5 by 3.5 photo be able to go in the middle. So it might depend a little bit on how much, you might not even want to put the wooden slats in behind. Or if you're wanting, you can certainly pull the posts out a bit more to accommodate, a 6x4 size photo, but anything. So maybe I'll do that. And I've got my wheat field here. And so what I'm thinking I might do is actually just cut some pieces that I might move this up a bit. And I might cut some pieces to put along. I might not do a hole across the bottom. I might just cut some of those pieces out a bit, just to give the illusion of the ground line. So I'm just going to try to keep figuring out where I want all this to land. So I'm going to design this for a 5.5 by 3.5, at least matted at 5.5 by 3.5. So you might have to crop that photo a little bit more to accommodate that size. So again, right, I'm just dry fitting all of this right now. And since it's kind of really in the spots that I'm wanting it, I'm going to start, I'm going to just start putting it in here. And you could use repo tape if you want. So I'm just going to use something real quick, a nice little pencil mark to help me with my placement again. Because everything's going to start moving. Okay. Trying to decide which way I like these to cross over with each other, because I want to have a peak. Bring this down. And I might even want it to kind of have the photo tuck in a little bit here, so. Not too shabby, but it's okay, it's a manger. It might not need to be perfect, right? So this way, when I have my photo, I might kind of come in, tuck it in a little bit. I'm going to take my microtip scissors, my wheat field. I'm going to kind of trim off some pieces here. work. And I could come in also with a decorative trimmer if I wanted to, have a little more dimension to that that ground line a bit. I don't know about adding any in the middle because it kind of might not. If I do, I'm going to go with lower pieces than any of these higher pieces. So we can try it out real quick, see what we think. It's a maybe. It's a maybe for me. But I think I'll at least put these side ones on. I'm actually going to make this a little bit thinner, I think. Get my silicone mat with my repo tape. Pull you out there. I think I'll just put that just at the base there. So it doesn't really overlap too much onto that photo. Okay. So what I will do then is I'm going to make a couple of little pieces to go up here that would be like beams. So for these pieces, you'll probably want, really thin ones, like around 1/4 of an inch. Which I don't know if this one is. Let's take a quick measure here. This is 1/2 inch. So you're going to want some 1/4 inch pieces in there. And I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do it this way. But if you want to use scraps, go ahead. So I'm going to get that 1/4 inch cut. And then I'm going to cut one piece at about 5 inches. And then I think the other ones, I'll do it like, let's do 2.5. I've got an extra piece there. All right, we're gonna ink them so they match. Okay, and then I'm going to place my 5-incher underneath here, somewhere about here-ish, I think. So let's get some tape onto you. I need to pop this up a little so I have some room to work with, tucking it in. Again, I've got my photo guide here just as a little helper, just to look at placement, where everything's gonna go. I'm gonna come up here, I think. And then I'm gonna put these two in as a cross beam. And I just need to trim it off a little bit. Tuck that under. And then tuck this one under. I'm just gonna pull this down a little, yeah. I can probably use that little piece I cut off right here to kind of bring that through. Like I said, I'm doing this on the fly, so sometimes that happens. Yeah, that should work. Have my photo, which will probably tuck a little bit under the wheat field once I get a photo ready. Okay. I think we're doing pretty good. Let's look at our star real quick. So I know I was debating whether I wanted to use gold or bronze. And so now I'm gonna kind of pull out, look at that color pattern. And I think I'm gonna go with the bronze. I kind of like how it just aligns with everything a little bit more. So, what I think I'll do, now I could do a whole strip across. I could just do, you know, kind of one or two sets of punches with the Star of Wonder. So let's kind of see how this will look. I just wanted to do 2 punches, so it'd give me 4. That could work. I think I'm gonna punch it all the way through just to kind of get another one on there. Kind of see what that looks like. And then I'm kind of leaning that I'm gonna wanna add the other ones in, but perhaps I wanna have the title here, which maybe that's what I'll do. I might just leave that as is, because I want to have space to kind of put a title embellishment on there. So I'm going to clear off that. I don't need my gold. Last piece, well, last-ish piece, right? So we have our, we need our angel. So you could certainly use an angel embellishment from another collection. This one is from Joy to the World that I pulled out that I think might look really neat. Here I might ink the sides of it as well so it will stand out more, because it's on a white background. It's kind of getting a little blended in there. But that's where I suggest also, if you don't have any embellishments but you have the Angel BMC, you could certainly punch out an angel. You would only need one. Or if you wanted to replace the stars with the angels, Angel BMC would look nice too. That's what I would suggest. Make a punch, cut out the one angel, and toss her at the top of your, at the peak of your manger there. So I'm just going to give this a quick little edge in the brown. It's got a lot of curves and edges in there, so it's a little bit harder to kind of get in there on some of them. But as long as I have enough to pull out the shape overall, I'll be okay. And I could use a foam sticker to pop up the angel if I wanted as well. I think right now I'm just going to adhere. I'm going to get some repo tape on this. Come in here along the top. Okay, let's get our carolers down. Oops, wrong one. Along the bottom here. Okay, let's go back to that sticker pack. Let's see. So what I like, I've got on here the sticker Oh Holy Night, and I think that's what I'm going to go with on this one. And so this might be a little bit tricky. Just place, oh, I could just place it here. It would help if I had another star probably to cover it, or to come all the way through. So in that case, I'm just going to snag some more bronze real quick. So I can make that happen. Alright, got a scrap here of that bronze, so let's Since I don't need that many, I'm just going to stop at 2 and cut this off from the paper there. Put my scraps to the side because I want to save those little middle star punch outs. Those are nice little things to have. Okay, actually I'm going to cut here, looks like. I'm going to have this one fit the page more. Oops, wrong tape. I do that a lot. Grab the wrong tape. I'm sure lots of you are empathizing with me right now. Okay, I'm just going to butt it right up against. You really can barely tell. Get my sticker back. Where am I going to place you now? Now, it's not working, right? What I thought would work isn't really. Okay, if I go off to the side more, I could come down. I can fix that real quick. So maybe we'll do that. Thank goodness for repo tape, right? Oh, they're a little crooked there. Okay, and I'm a little off because I didn't start off centered, so that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna fix that real quick. Just gonna come off just a little bit off the edge there. Pull these over. That way, it will blend a little bit better. There we go. Much better. Now I'll get my sticker, finally, and I can make it straight like this. I could come in a little angled, but I think what I'm going to just do is go like this. And if I wanted to, I could certainly find maybe some extra little embellishments or little stickers of music notes to kind of indicate that they're singing maybe at the bottom. But here's our Oh Holy Night layout, little mini manger scene that will fit our 5.5 by 3.5 matted 5.5 by 3.5 photo. And again, if you had wanted that to be a bigger 6 by 4, just push out to the sides a little bit more. and it'll work for you. So hope you enjoyed, and hope this helps you get into the Christmas season. And join me for the next video where we're going to make our companion page for this using the same collection. So again, thanks for watching, and if you need anything, reach out to your favorite advisors. Catch you later.